Good evening, folks. This is Ryan for the Grumpy Guy Show, bringing you episode 64. Put them shoes on the menu. Recorded Monday, September 12th, 2022. Tonight, we talk about something that's vegan now, as well as someone that possibly may have died recently, and a couple more things. So, stay tuned.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
So tonight we got several topics, but hopefully they're not going to take too long.
You jinxed it. You're gonna jinx it again.
Yeah, probably. But my throat's bothering me a little bit.
45 minutes.
And I have a trip for work coming up tomorrow, so got a lot to do to get ready for that. But so anyway, what do you say? We dive right into it.
Let's jump into it.
And just to let you know, folks, we're more unorganized this week than normal because we didn't even pick an order for any of this stuff. It's just there.
We're just going.
Yep, it's just going to be a total wing. Tweet, 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 tweet. Anywho. So let's start out with something that's good, but bad at the same time. Pixel adaptive charging. Now, this is only available on Pixel devices as far as I know. Mm-hmm. Basically, what it is it's a way for your phone to slowly charge overnight until shortly before an alarm goes off. And then it rapidly charges to full. So that when you get up, your battery's at full charge. The concept is that a slower charge rate is much better for the battery, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But apparently Apple is copying it, so it must be somewhat good.
Of course they are.
But here's my problem with it. It is
they don't innovate.
Yeah. This is aimed at people who work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the reason I say that is because this is automatic. You can't say do adaptive charging. It's it's done automatically. But here's the catch. First off, you have to have an alarm set, which that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you can't plug it in before 9 p.m. at night. I'm like, I start work at 6 o'clock in the morning. And, right now, because I'm working from home, it's not a horrible thing. Because, I don't get up until 5. So, going to bed at 9, all right, that's okay. But if I'm going into the office, I got to get up at 4 in the morning. So this adaptive charging, which is supposed to make my phone battery last longer, becomes worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Because, now I plug in before 9 o'clock because I want to be asleep by 9 o'clock. And what happens? Well, then it just goes to regular charging, which means it gets to a full charge rapidly and then cycles. It'll drop down to like 95. I think it goes down to 95%, and then it'll recharge it back up to 100 rapidly, and then it'll drop back down to 95. It'll just keep doing that all night. Mm-hmm. And, I'm far from the only person. I'm probably actually a horrible example to complain about it because, 9 o'clock is roughly the time that I go to bed on most nights. But somebody who works days, they're never going to get any advantage of this. Or somebody who works like third shift, something like that, they're never going to see an advantage. And it's all because Google works 9 to 5. This should be something that it should be based on what time you go to bed and how far in advance your alarm is set. I mean, if your alarm is set for 6 hours from now, okay, don't do adaptive charging. But if your alarm is set from 8 hours after you plug it in, do adaptive charging. Or, make it realistic. I mean, not everybody sleeps 8 hours. I'm somewhere between 7 hours and at most like 8.5, maybe 9 occasionally. So as long as you set an alarm that's more than 7 hours away, do adaptive charging. It isn't that hard. Google knows what time you set the alarm for, and they also know what time you plug it in after setting the alarm. It's simple math. I mean, when you set an alarm, after you set it, right down at the bottom of the screen, it says, setting alarm for 8 hours and 25 minutes from now. You know this stuff, so why the hell make it so complex? Yeah, I mean, for all the intelligence that Google has, they just don't use it. I mean, I get the idea of keeping this as a pixel-only thing. You want to sell your phones. I get it. But make it so that it's actually useful for everybody, not just not just the people who work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Make it useful for everybody, because the worst thing that we can do for the environment is continually replace these phones and these batteries. Simply put. So if this thing truly does save the battery, fix the software so that it actually uses intelligence. It's not that hard. So
Anyway.
So, like I said, folks, we might get through this quickly. Who knows?
You're gonna jinx it.
Yeah, probably, but you know what? It's alright.
Anyway.
So, next on the agenda is the wonderfully brilliant people in California. And by people, I'm not talking the constituents. I'm talking the moronic politicians.
That the moronic constituents elect.
Well,
because they don't have any other options.
It always comes down to the lesser of two evils. I mean, we've talked about that many times.
Some of the wackos are actually fine with, actually like the two options that they're given.
Don't get me wrong, there are, but for the most part, it's the lesser of two evils. There's a reason that
most of these people don't get primaried.
Yeah. So at any rate, probably, well, let's see. The article is from, it's a couple of weeks ago. So the article, last week. The article is from the 1st of September. And I'll put a link in the show notes as long as I remember. But basically, California passed a law so that by the year 2035, which is not that far away.
Of course they did.
Every vehicle, it's not vehicle, it's actually no internal combustion engines will be able to be sold in the state of California. Mm-hmm. So why am I griping about this? You're thinking, right? Because I don't live in California, so I'm not stuck dealing with that. Well, first off, I live in New York, which generally follows whatever California does. And if New York isn't following California, they're just trying to beat California to the punch. So at any rate, the reason I'm griping about this is because 2 days after they publish this, they say, oh, by the way, we've got a real big heat wave coming, and there's potential for rolling blackouts, so please don't charge your cars. I mean, what the hell are they going to do when every single car in the state is an electric car that needs to be charged? They're not going to be able to say, oh, by the way, don't charge your car today. I mean, that's just the stupidest concept in the world. But here's the other thing.
Especially since public transportation in the United States is absolute shit.
Yeah, and it's even worse out in California. Sorry to say, but because of the way things are out there, as far as the I can't even think of it. The Earth. With all the fault lines and everything out there, they can't really build subways or anything. So it's not like New York City where they've got subways going all over the place. Not that they're the greatest. But, they've got San Francisco with their rail cars. Okay, yeah. But the problem then becomes, what happens if those get filled up and you can't get on?
Oh well,
Yeah, but here's
you're stuck walking to work.
yeah, and if you're talking in San Francisco, there's some serious hills in that city. You don't want to be walking to work because by the time you get there, you're going to be all sweaty and you're not going to feel like working because you're going to be tired and worn out. But
But hey, at least it's Northern California rather than Southern California, where you'd probably die of heat stroke if you tried walking to work.
yeah, and that's the other thing. The statement was, don't use your air conditioners and don't charge your cars. Wait a minute. Don't use your air conditioners. How much you want to make a bet that the governor's mansion was still air conditioned the entire time? I'd put money on it.
I'd bet all the money I have
Yeah,
that it was.
I'd put
Plus,
money on it.
however much everything in this room is worth.
And it's like when De Blasio in New York City, he passed a law that you couldn't leave your car running to keep your air conditioning going for more than 5 minutes, except for emergency vehicles. Okay, emergency vehicles, I kind of get that, when you're talking about fire
Fair enough.
trucks or ambulance. Don't really get it as far as cop cars, but okay, whatever.
Mhm.
But here's the catch with that. His limousine counts as an emergency vehicle.
Of
Uh-huh.
course it does.
So, yeah.
Well, he's not mayor anymore,
Well,
so
yeah, but as soon as he passed that law, there was a lot of people complaining. Hey, what the hell's with that? You're telling me that you get to sit in air conditioning, you get to have your car nice and cold when you come out of some meeting, but I can't? So then what he
yeah,
did,
it's stupid.
so then what he did, he said, okay, well, my car doesn't count as emergency in this case. So what did he do? Well, he had a window unit put into the window of the car and he ran an extension cord out to it. I'm like,
Oh
oh
my
my God. Now that piece of it, I don't know how much is true because, it's just kind of hearsay, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, my part of my problem with this whole thing with California. So most states, like New York State, we will have a very, very difficult time surviving on solar power alone. Why? Well, because Syracuse area, we get, I think it's like 45% of all possible sunlight that we could get, and it's just because of the cloud cover coming off the lake. You look at California, California gets like 85% of their potential sunlight. They're also farther south than New York State, which means they get more sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell aren't they putting solar panels on top of every single roof in California? I can
They
tell you
should.
why. I can tell you why they're not. They're not because
Hmm.
then the power companies wouldn't be able to suck people dry.
Of course.
I mean, you get some of the wealthy people out there. They're completely off the grid, and not only are they off the grid, but they're actually selling electricity back to the electric company. The way that laws are written is, if you produce your own electricity and you have an excess, the electric company has no choice but to buy it from you. So, you've got some of these people with these huge houses that put up solar panels covering most of it. They run their whole house and they have extra electricity. But, you get some of these other people. Well, why aren't we putting solar panels up on their houses so that they can do that same thing? And possibly prevent these rolling blackouts. Oh, we don't want to do that. That would be smart.
No, that's too smart for us.
Yeah, and it'd also be a situation where, some company would be losing their ass.
That'd make us look like we care.
Yeah. Make us look like we're doing our job, which is to protect the people. No, 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 no. We don't want to protect the people. We want to protect the businesses. Because the businesses are the ones that are going to fund my next campaign, which is going to get me
Mhm.
reelected.
So I'll be able to stay in office until I'm like 100.
Yeah, yeah. Until I can tell you that retirement age is 65, and then I'll be 85 when I finally decide, you know what? Maybe I've had enough.
85's a 85's a bit generous.
Yeah, a little bit.
More like 95.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe 100 if we're gonna try to push to beat Strom Thurmond's record.
Yeah, there's. I think it's
That
just
man
going to
was
get
like
worse.
103 when he died in office.
I think it's just going to get worse and worse as we go along. These politicians aren't going to want to let go. Some of it is they're addicted to the amount of money they're getting. I mean, let's face it, they make a lot of money. You know?
They do.
Some of it's because, nobody's going to push them out unless they have to. But,
Lobbying.
yeah. So, what do you say?
Oop.
Oh, you broke it.
I knocked it over. Anyway, next topic. While I try to find my charger.
So the next topic.
Keep. Right, next topic. Where's that damn charger? Next topic.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I just gotta stop laughing at you.
No, that's not it.
See, folks, I keep telling him he needs to get himself a bit more organized and put his laptop on the desk that's behind him. But, he refuses to do that. So this is what we deal with. He's got his light there, his ring light off to the side on a stack of boxes. He's got his laptop on a tray table.
There we go.
Just so that he can have specific background behind him.
I want my bed in the background.
Yeah, well, whatever. So, the next topic. So, it's back to school season, as everybody knows.
It is.
And I went with your brother to buy some new shoes for him. It's the first time, and I don't know, I think the first time ever that he didn't really, really need new shoes. He usually beats the crap out of his shoes. But,
Yep.
his old ones are still okay. Could have used them, but he said, we'll get him some shoes anyhow. So...
He beats up shoes like I feel like I beat up slippers.
Yeah, the difference
I'm amazed
is...
that my current pair of slippers are in such good shape.
Well, once you realize that I'm not lying to you when I say that you drag your feet, you're going to understand why you go through slippers.
I don't.
Yeah. You'll figure it out sooner or later, trust me. But
No, I don't, I swear.
at any rate. So we're looking at shoes, and we pick out a pair for him, and he tries them on, and he says, "Yeah, okay, those aren't that bad." And I find some other ones that, because he has a problem tying his shoes. Don't know why. Yeah. He ties his shoes, they come untied 10 minutes later, and then he says, "Well, I just tied them." And then he just ends up tying them in knots, and they don't, they're really loose. So, just to pick on him, I step on the laces as he's walking, but... So I saw a pair that, it looks like it has laces, but they're not actually laces. They're elastic, and I said, well, how about those? So he tried them on. I said, hey, I really like those. Okay, great. So I turned and looked, and right on the side of a box, there's this big sticker, about like this big around,
Oh, this is going to be good.
It says 100% vegan. I'm like, what the hell do you mean vegan? What are you going to do? Eat your damn shoes? I mean, come on. Unless it's a leather shoe, it's vegan.
Exactly.
I don't get this. I mean, seriously. If it's got rubber in the insole, guess what? Rubber comes from a plant. That's it. If it uses some kind of oil, guess what? It comes from vegetable oil. I mean, come on.
Plants.
even if it's coming from crude oil, guess what? It's still vegan. Just like
Well, some crude oil does come from dead dinosaurs, doesn't it?
well, yeah, but you really truly think that's going to make a difference? I mean, come on. I mean, if somebody
Well,
is that
dinosaurs are an
concerned with
animal,
it, yeah, if
and
somebody's
anything made
that
from animals
concerned,
isn't vegan.
I guess, but if somebody is that concerned, I mean, come on. Where do you think most of these plants are getting their nutrients? They're getting the nutrients from freaking animals that have died over their root system.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or they're getting it from, animals taking a crap on their root system. I mean, how much of this is going to be vegan?
Well, there are some vegans out there that are so concerned about this crap that they'll complain about anything that contains animals.
Yeah, and
There's a really famous one out there on TikTok that's picking fights with literally every celebrity that every somewhat famous person that she comes across.
well, I look at it like this. I'm not against somebody being vegan.
Neither am I.
I totally get why people would want to do that. That's their choice. But the thing is, to come and attack me because I like the taste of meat, that's where I have a problem. And the fact that we have to put these stupid stickers on a box for shoes is just ridiculous.
It is.
I mean, seriously, who cares? Look at the freaking package. If it says leather, then don't buy it.
It's not.
Yeah. It says leather, or guess what, folks? Suede. Suede is leather. Don't buy it. Beyond that,
Don't.
it's vegan. And if you want to eat as we were leaving, I told your brother, I said, this must be because of all these celebrity chefs, that do all this traveling and say, oh, put that on a flip-flop, I'd eat it. It must be because of that, These people
Maybe.
are thinking, well, hey, yeah, put that in my vegan shoe and I'll eat it. What is it, an edible bowl? I mean, come on.
Maybe.
Seriously.
It's the next bread bowl.
Yeah. The shoe bowl.
Sell it at Panera.
Yeah.
Put it on their menu.
The shoe bowl. Oh, my. All right, so I think we beat that one to death pretty good. What do you think?
Yep.
Oh, that's right. It's
I'd like
vegan.
to
We can't
introduce
beat it
this
to
next-
death.
I'd like to introduce this next topic, this last one.
All right. So this is a topic that I added kind of late. I actually added it while I was waiting for Ryan to join in. It's been all over the news, and let you go for it.
So have you heard that the Queen died?
I think I heard something about that.
My congratulations and condolences go out to King Chuck.
Yeah, yeah. And I added it in here for the simple fact that we're in the United States.
It's everywhere.
I have seen more coverage about the Queen dying than I have
Then Gerald Ford's death so many years ago.
beyond Gerald Ford. You're talking more than Ronald Reagan, more than Bush, more than any president that I can think of that has passed. And on top of that, any other world leader out there. We're getting all of this coverage, and the worst part in the world is she's just a figurehead. She didn't really do anything political. She's just a figurehead.
She had no power.
Exactly. And we're supposed to sit here watching all of this crap for days and days and days. I mean, when did she die? Thursday?
Sure, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so Thursday. Here it is Monday. Part of the reason that we're recording early, and yes, folks, we are recording early. We usually record at 7:30. We're recording at 6:30 in part because I don't want to watch the stupid news tonight because it's going to be all about the Queen dying. There's no war happening in Ukraine that people might be interested in. Oh, no. The Queen died. No, no, no.
Sure, it's
We don't
cool
have
that
to.
she broke the record, but still.
Yeah, we don't want to know anything about anything else happening because the Queen died. Who
Mm-hmm.
cares about the fires that are all over the nation right now? The fact that one fire out in California has burned 46,000 acres of land. Who cares about that? No, no, no.
That's normal.
Yeah, we don't
Fire in
care.
California is
The Queen
normal.
died. I mean, did she put out any fires? No. She never even started a fire in a fireplace. She'd have somebody do it. You, come light my fire. I mean, come on. It's just utterly ridiculous that anybody in the United States cares that much about it. You want to say, so the Queen died, okay, great. Go ahead, say it, get it over with. But don't go on and on and on. Every single newscast since then has had at least 15 to 20 minutes of coverage about the Queen's death and everything that's happening. I don't care.
Yeah, that's way too much for this country.
Exactly. If we're in
I
Canada,
get it
okay.
if it was Canada doing it.
Yeah,
Or Australia. Or anybody else in the Commonwealth. But here,
yeah,
we left the monarchy behind over 200 years ago.
exactly. We are no longer part of Great Britain or their Commonwealth or their territories or anything along those lines. We are our own independent country. And I don't care about that much coverage of, I mean, call her a world leader if you want. I don't care about that much coverage of world leaders from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Gorbachev died recently, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Like a week before she did.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that he was still alive.
I was too, but, at the same time.
And how much coverage did he get?
Just a brief mention.
Yeah, like 5 minutes?
Yeah, and think of what he did for opening Russia up to the West.
He shook hands with two different Ronalds. Reagan and McDonald.
But, it's... I don't know. It's part of the backwards problem that we have in this country, just it's so focused on stupid things, so focused on celebrities, it's not even funny.
It is. Celebrity worship has always been a problem in America.
Yeah, and it's just getting worse and worse. And anytime I say something about about not giving a crap about the royal family to anybody who is fascinated with it, oh well, it's just the idea that you could get taken away. You could be just a common woman, and the prince comes and takes you, and suddenly you're royalty. Who the hell cares?
Who the hell cares?
That's
just promoting elitism, which is honestly awful.
Yeah, and I mean, look at how many of these royals have had marital problems. And it's all because
the king himself.
Yeah. It's all because, well, I'm royalty. I can do what I want.
Mm-hmm. They are literally above the law.
Yeah. And it's ridiculous because, that's just not how you treat a person. You get married for a reason. And, granted, too many people now get married for the wrong reasons. They get married because, oh, well, sex is good. Yeah, well, you find the right person and sex is better. It's just, I don't know. But
you could also get married for tax reasons.
Yeah, I suppose. But it'll catch up with you when you get a divorce. Costs you a lot more.
That's if you get a divorce.
Well, yeah. But if you're getting...
look at you. You're still married.
But I didn't get married because of tax reasons.
Well, yeah, but still.
See, and that's what I'm saying. People who get married for financial reasons like that are just... they're... It's going to catch up. Because sooner or later, you're going to want a divorce, and they ain't cheap. But,
you know how royals get a lot of divorces? Well, your brother would make a good royal in that case. Didn't he
Yeah.
just get out of his second one?
Yeah, I believe so, but I don't know. I just leave that.
Yep.
All right, folks. I'm sure you heard the music starting up in the background.
In that case, good night.
We'll see ya.